What's going on, Niner fam? It is Peter Lucas. This is the Niner Fanatic Podcast, and it's Thursday. I know I tell you guys what day it is every single time I get on here, but Thursday is significant because Thursday the 49ers signed another depth piece for the defensive backfield in Rock Sin. And a lot of you might not have heard the name, but I think he's actually a solid depth piece. But before we're going to talk about him, we're going to talk about the show is called Better or Worse for a reason, and we'll get into that. And of course we got to do the mock draft. But before we get to any of it, we got to hit the music.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I'd like to know,
are you ready for start time?
And once again, it is Peter Lucas. This is the Niner Fanatic Podcast. Make sure you give the video a like. Make sure that you give it a subscribe. Make sure that you hit the bell so you get the notifications for when I go live. And yeah, the new day for the Niner Fanatic Podcast. We are now on Twitch. So welcome to anybody watching on Twitch. I appreciate it because it kind of was a short notice. So I don't know that I really have any followers on Twitch, but let's start with one. All right. And I appreciate everybody watching today. But like I was talking about, 49ers, they signed Rock Sin, and he's been through a few different teams. He was drafted in the same draft class as Debo, and so it was a little bit ago. He's now a vet, and we look at this as obvious depth. This is not. I think that he could compete for a star. I think he's better than what the 49ers had in the building before free agency, and so at least steadier. I do think Yadam has something to say about that starting spot on the other side, opposite Mooney Ward, but he's still. I think he's still a serviceable player. He played with the Ravens, I believe, last year, and yeah, I think the 49ers are just stacking up cornerbacks, and it's really kind of, we look at this draft coming up, and we keep thinking that we know which way the 49ers are going to go, and the 49ers keep making moves to make it seem like, hey, wait a minute. Like, I know it's forever the 49er idiom of when you think we're going to zig, we're going to zag the other direction. And I've called that's usually I reserve that for Kyle, but but it looks like the organization is doing the same thing right now. And I just look at this draft, and who knows at this point what's going to happen. I think that they're perfectly okay with McKivitz. I know that's not what all the fans want to hear. I think that they're perfectly okay to roll out there with McKivitz again, to roll out there with John Feliciano and Burford and all the guys that are already in the building. I don't think that they feel pressured to get to draft any amount of linemen, let alone more than one. And so it's going to be super interesting. And I think all of us 49er fans are going to be on pins and needles waiting to see who the 49ers pick. It can't be as much of a gut punch. It doesn't matter what happens. It can't be as much of a gut punch as it was last year when the 49ers took a kicker in the third round. Can't be. And then not only when they took a kicker, but then when they take Cam Latu, when they did, it can't be any more of a gut punch. So I'm waiting. I'm really excited because it comes down to the fact that we've actually got a first round pick this year. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Just the anticipation, whether they're going to trade down, whether they're going to trade up, you just don't know. You just don't know. And, but so the 49ers signed Rocky Sin. Now they've got a fully flashed out cornerback room. I highly doubt they pick somebody high. After all the people that they have in this cornerback room, I highly doubt that they take a cornerback high. Could they take a safety? And when I look at the safety class, I'm not thinking of anybody. I'm thinking of a Cooper DeJean kind of type. Like I feel like he could be a very good safety. He could play that. I'm looking at a Kalen Bullock. I'm looking at a couple of guys that I could see playing center field for the 49ers. But when the 49ers took because the 49ers took so many corners in free agency and because the room is so fleshed out, it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder if there is a philosophical change and they're kind of looking to get more coverage out of their corners and put a little bit more responsibility on those corners to kind of to give that defensive line some more seconds to get to the quarterback. And I wonder about that because I do believe in Jair Brown. I do believe in Afunga, and I think Afunga is going to make a full recovery. I really have that feeling in my gut. I can't say for sure it's going to happen, but I have feeling in my gut that he is going to come back with a vengeance. And but I could also see them getting a center field type safety just in case. They do need to flesh out that safety room, in my opinion. So with that being said, like I mean, I want to get this one out of the way because I saw this on Twitter just before I got on, and could it be? Could it be? Let's start the clickbait now. Could it be Ayuk to the Ravens? I saw something where apparently the quarterback for the Ravens, and I don't know why I'm blanking on his name, but Lamar like started following Ayuk. So now, of course, here they come out of the woodwork. Speculation that Ayuk to the Ravens. Let's nip this one in the bud. I think the Ravens are one of the last teams, the 49ers, along with the Chiefs, along with the Rams, along with the Seahawks, along with the Packers. There's a list of teams that I think the 49ers absolutely would not trade any of their major guys to. And I think that the Ravens is one of them. Nobody wants to see Lamar get a number one wide receiver like I with a skill set like Ayuk. That's a recipe for disaster for the league. And so I would say that's a negative. I don't see that happening. I think the 49ers want Ayuk in house. I think they want what everything that Ayuk brings from a leadership standpoint. We've seen it the last couple of years. Ayuk has been a leader in this clubhouse. They've even let him run practice a couple of times. I think that he is a lead by example type. He blocks his behind off like the heart, the effort that Ayuk brings, even though he knows he's the third, fourth option. The man still ended up with over 1,300 yards receiving, being the because he doesn't take plays off. And so I just don't see how you get rid of a culture guy like Ayuk. He is one of your hardest workers on this team. Let's just be real about it. If you just look at the timeline, this man busts his behind for this team and for his locker room. And I don't think that that's a guy you get rid of. I think that if there was anything that was going to be done, I think it would be it would probably be before or during the draft. But I heard I heard this on. I was listening to BD Peacock. Big up to BD Peacock and Jay and Steph Sanchez. Like Jason Aponte, for those didn't know who I was talking about. And they had their show right before I went on, and they were talking about, you know, they could see it if after pick 21, I don't think that there's any threat about you getting traded. But we I just don't think it happens at all. I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm saying it's not going to happen at all. I don't see it. 49ers, this is their timeline for all of their major signings. We're just not going to see it until training camp. You guys just got to you're just going to have to wait. You're just going to have to wait. And CarCast in the building. Appreciate you for coming through, fam. Appreciate you. And I will be on CarCast show tomorrow, so make sure that you guys take a look at that. Take a look and check us out. I'm sure we're going to be talking some draft stuff. I'm sure we're going to be talking about your favorite 49er content. But the other thing that people were talking about yesterday, and I think that to a lesser degree, this is kind of, to me, it's relevant because it's fun to talk about the jerseys and the uniforms. So the league okayed teams to wear an extra alternative helmet, and so there was a lot of debate yesterday on Twitter about what helmet to go with, and I put on my thumbnail the gold chrome. That's the one I like the most. I do like the old school like alternate 49ers one, and I wish I had a picture of it to put on there, but it just actually spells out the 49er. But I do like that one as well, but I like the gold chrome. And that with the 94 shaded numbers, it's sick. That would be sick. And I saw a bunch of edits out there with it. I love it. But we do all these things on Madden. For all my Madden players out there, we do all of that, all the playing with the uniforms, tinkering with this, tinkering with that. The 49ers should just ask the Madden community to come up with the best looking uniform. I bet you they come up with something fresher than the actual team comes up with. So, but it is what it is. But I do like those gold helmets. Those are cool. But as we get closer to the draft, there is a little bit of jitters for guys like myself and guys and girls out there that love the draft. I love this part of the off season, the draft, and all the what ifs, could have beens, and all the scouting of these players. And you look at the fit like between these teams, that like when the draft is going on, you immediately think, for the people that break down these players, they immediately know if these guys are going to be a fit or not. And sometimes you just they make questionable decisions. 49ers have made multiple questionable decisions along over the years, picking a bunch of players that nobody knows who they are sometimes. And yeah, but the jitters are starting to get there. We're a couple of weeks away from the draft, and it is going to be, for the first time in a long time, the 49ers got a first and a second round pick. So they got some draft capital to move around in this draft. And so anything, the world is the 49ers oyster. Anything is possible. So I mean, just think about it. They can move up, they can move back for make more capital. They can move up in later rounds. And which I think is a more likely scenario. I'm looking at the board and what the 49ers, and I don't think that they're necessarily going to draft for a need, but I think that if there's an obvious player there that they want, historically speaking, let's just say this, historically speaking, the 49ers have obviously picked who they wanted in the draft well before the draft. And I think a lot of teams say that they do that, but the 49ers actually do that. And they pick people way out of their draft area, their draft position, the average draft position. They do it all the time. So it's obvious to me that the 49ers know exactly who they want before they go into the draft, and they've laid out their pathway to get to that person, to those people, come hell or high water. And they don't care what the draft position is, obviously, with the kicker being picked third, picking Latu in the third round. Picking Burford, picking Zakel, like these other guys that they've picked in past drafts. They know who they want, and I honestly think they like guys in the later rounds. That's why they reach a lot of the times. I think that they like guys that are kind of not slated to go. They don't. I maybe it's an entitlement thing. I couldn't tell you offhand, but it's weird to me that they're always there's never a wait. There's never a wait. They told you right away that they were going. They didn't tell us right away about Trey Lance, but that they traded up to when they didn't waste any time. They traded up and got the third pick well before the draft. But we were just wondering who it was going to be. But I think they knew it was Trey Lance, like right away. I think that they knew it was Trey Lance, and maybe not right when they made the pick, but I think they knew it well before the pick, well before the draft, and then the way that they felt out that draft all the way to the end. I think the last couple of drafts, it's really apparent to me that they already know. They already know what they're going to do, and they're just laying out their pathway to get to those players. And that's all the draft is about to them. It's just a way to get to the players that they want. And so when we look at this draft and I talk about the jitters, we've all been doing mock drafts for weeks, months. We've been doing them like crazy. And the 49ers are probably not going to pick any of them. Any of the people we want. Now, in the past, every year I do a shadow draft. Big up to PD Peacock. For I've been watching his show for long enough to know about the shadow drafts. So I started doing them myself, and one of these days I'll put those picks. I'll talk about those picks that I made the first couple times I did it. Wasn't that great, but the last couple of years I think I made a pretty good. I thought it was a pretty good shadow draft, and it's just I think that the 49ers just they value different things. And we go over this every year. The 49ers value who the player is more than they value the physical talent. A physical talent obviously has to be a part of it. But at the same time, it's about who that guy is, what is his personality type, how is he fit within that locker room. Because the locker room, no matter what anybody says, the locker room is you can't just stick bodies into a locker room. We've seen other teams where locker rooms just implode and there's a bunch of controversy, and all that kind of stuff. We don't need the added noise. I think that the 49ers find guys that buy into the system. They're all about the team, and they love football. Like that's the one common denominator. A lot of the times they're team leaders on their college teams. And yeah, the 49ers definitely have a type of player that they like when they're going through the draft process. And big up to Steph Sanchez again, because she has make sure that you check out her graph that she puts out on Twitter, talking about all the guys that the 49ers have come into contact with over this whole draft process. And it's a pretty extensive list. And their top 30 visits are starting to fill up. They just had their pro day the other day, which Terrell Owens' son, I believe his name is Tyreek, he was there, and they made a big deal about him being there. Terrell Owens was in the building at the time, and I think that the experts are thinking that he doesn't really get drafted, but it might be an undrafted free agency. It might have been there just to get his face out there, so that maybe they pick him up as an undrafted free agent. So, but yeah, when you look at the draft and when we get into who the 49ers are thinking about picking, you've got to look at the person. It's not just about the talent. If a guy is a problem, and he's got any kind of baggage, injury issues, that the 49ers probably aren't going to pick him. I mean, that's what they've shown us in the past couple of years. And every year is a little bit different. They seem to always learn from past mistakes. They always try something different. a little bit, but their core of who they are as a team, that in the way that they draft is pretty much the same. That they like now in the beginning they were taking guys that got hurt and they had a big problem with injuries, but now they value guys that play a lot of snaps. They value guys that have those team leadership aspects. They value guys that are just solid human beings. And I think that's the big common denominator when we look at these guys. If these guys, and we look at, just watch some of the interviews. Watch some of the interviews with some of these guys. They like a certain type of guy. And I can't wait. I can't wait to dig more into. I know that even though I know that the type of guy that they like and the guys that fit Shanahan's system, even though we know what guys fit Shanahan's system, they may not fit the mold of the person that the 49ers want. And that's the key. That's the key. So we're going to So with all that being said, we're going to get into this mock draft, and I'm going to do some trades. I like in my past mock drafts, I haven't been doing trades. And but I want to make I want to do slow it down and get that's why I'm starting so early. And I want to slow it down, and I want to really get an idea of, as the board falls, what the 49ers could be thinking when when they're in certain spots. And I'm really, the more I do these mocks, the more I think that the 49ers might actually trade back. Um, Not only that, I think that they're going to use those late picks that they have, I think, to trade up in the later in the later rounds. Because there is some mighty nice picks in this fifth, sixth round spot. And in the third, fourth, not so much. In that third, fourth area, there's not a lot of guys in those areas. They're going to have to reach in those areas. So I feel like they're going to move up when they get to the third round pick. Like they might move up again in the fourth round, and then when they get to the fifth, like they might move down a few more spots. And but I think that they're going to be done drafting by the sixth round. That's what I think is going to happen. Maybe not. They might take their 251, but I wouldn't be surprised if they were done drafting by the sixth round. I think that there are a couple of guys late, like Bub Means, and I believe his last name is McGee. I want to say it's Isaiah McGee out of Texas A&M, that linebacker that has the skill set that the 49ers like at linebacker, that I could see them bringing in as like a special teamer, practice squad guy. But for the most part, I see them, and obviously this is not going to be a perfect mock draft, but we're going to do it anyway. And hold on, let me get it up. Pause. Oh, there it is. And let's see if I can get a little bit bigger for you guys. There you go. Pause again. And all right. So I'm going to use the PFN. I'm going to use the PFN mock draft machine today. I just like the way it works more so than the others. I've been using NFL Draft Buzz. I've used uh, not quite keen on the PFF. I'm not a fan of PFF. I'll be honest with you. Their mock drafts, especially, I just feel like they're not the greatest at like kind of spacing it out, and they're the people that the places that they put people at. I just don't agree. But PFN, it's not perfect, but none of these mock draft machines are. So, but I do like the way theirs is laid out. So big up to, and I like this one. I'll be honest, I like PFN's mock draft simulator. They have the live ones where you can get in with people and do mock drafts. and I think ESPN lets you do that as well. So like, I love doing that with other people involved because the simulations get a little stale when you know who's going to get picked in all the places. But when you add the human element, that's when it gets to be fun, and trades go through that wouldn't normally go through. But all right, so of course we're the 49ers. Busy. So of course Chicago picks Caleb Williams. Jalen Daniels goes to the Commanders. Drake May, Malik Neighbors, Marvin Harrison. Nothing surprising so far. Oh, just pause it real quick. JJ McCarthy goes to the Vikings trade up to get JJ McCarthy, which I think is way too high. Like, can I just say this? I think that they all these people thinking that JJ McCarthy is gonna go high. I know that that's the buzz going around. I just don't see it. I I just don't see it. And he didn't come from a pass happy offense. So when people are talking about taking him for in the first round, let's just be real. I am a Michigan fan. Okay? I'm a Michigan fan. Go blue till I die. Now, with that being said, Harbaugh had one of the worst passing offenses in college football. Like, I mean, it was terrible. And Harbaugh has never had a good passing offense. Pros, college, whatever. Like, I don't see why people are so high on JJ McCarthy. I don't think he's bad. I think that he's pretty. I think he's a second round talent, but to go sixth overall, that's like, to me that's like saying Mac Jones should have gone sixth overall, or the 49ers should have picked him third overall. I don't see how that's possible. But hey, is what it is. And they decided to take him. Thank you, because that's one less tackle off the board. Then number 7 goes Joe Alt to Tennessee. That's everybody seems to be having Tennessee taking Joe Alt. All right, let's keep going. Latu goes to the Falcons. Oh, Fashanu goes to the Bears. That's a big pickup. I thought they were going to go wide receiver. Roma Donze goes to. Now, this is. Hold on. Now, Roma Dunze goes to the Broncos here in this mock. I feel like if JJ McCarthy is not there at this point, if I'm the Broncos, I'm trading down so that I can go after Penix later. That would be my thought process if I was them. But or you take an offensive lineman. I just don't understand why you would take a wide receiver here. You've consistently taken wide receivers. You don't really have a quarterback. Like, so it's just weird to me that people are taking have them taking a wide receiver. But all right, I digress. Let's keep going. Fuaga goes to the Raiders. Latham goes to Saints. Brock Bowers. And this is another one. I don't know why Brock Bowers keeps getting mocked to the Colts. They have who is it? Jelani Woods, who is a beast. I think that they've got multiple decent tight ends on their squad. I don't know why they have them taking up Brock Bowers, but I think there's a lot of needs that they have. They could take an edge here. Jared Verse would have been great for them, I felt like, but they end up taking Brock Bowers, and then Verse goes to the Seahawks, which they're taking another edge, which I don't think that that's their need. This was another opportunity for them to get some The Seahawks really need somebody in the middle. I thought they could have traded down and maybe gotten one of these D tackles that are going to go in the first round. There's a couple of them, and who are they? Let me see. Johnny Newton. Johnny Newton is one. Byron Murphy. That's just a couple of. They need somebody in the middle, in my opinion. But all right, we're going to keep going. Willing to. I'm not willing to make a trade yet. I don't see any reason to yet. But here we go. Quinion Mitchell goes to the. Troy Fatanu goes to the Bengals. Brian Thomas. Thank God Mims is off the board. Okay, I'm going to pause right here at 23. And let's see what offensive tackles are still on the board. You've got Graham Barton. You've got Jackson Powers Johnson, Guyton, Kingsley, and Jordan Morgan. Those are the top guys. Now, I'd be perfectly okay with Graham Barton. I think he's going to get picked up by the Cowboys right here. If that's who I wanted, I would have to trade up right here to go get him. So that might be an option. If the 49ers really want to get their guy, if they want to get their guy at guard, because I don't think Graham Barton is a tackle, but if they want to go up there and get their guy at guard / future center, Graham Barton is the way to go. I think that would be the way to go. You could go Jackson Powers Johnson, but I think Graham Barton is the more sure prospect. I think that he is the more polished prospect. Jackson Powers Johnson, I really like as well. I definitely like them, both of them, more than I like Tyler Guyton. And I had to come around on that, but because in the beginning I was a Tyler Guyton stan. I really wanted him, and then the more somebody sent me some more tape of him, and I was like, can't do it. I want this to be the first time that the 49ers have had a first round pick in a few years. I want this one to stick. I do not want this to be a disappointment. I do not want this to be a Mike McGlinchey. I do not want this to be a Solomon Thomas. I need this to be somebody that sticks and he's with the 49ers for the next 10 years as a starter. And that would be my thought process going in. Does it have to be an offensive lineman? No, not necessarily. There's a couple of defensive ends that I could be persuaded to take if the guys that I wanted were off the board, but I mean, it is what it is. So let's just keep going, because I don't want either one. I don't want to trade up for Graham Barton or Jackson Powers Johnson or Tyler Guyton. They took Johnny Newton, so I thought for sure they were going to take Graham Barton. Then the Packers take Cooper DeJean, who would have been my pick if he would have fallen all the way down. I would have had to consider him for that single high safety that I was talking about. I know that he doesn't play safety. I know he's a corner, but I think that he would convert to safety in the league. I think that's what he's either going to be, that or a nickel, and which I can't believe you're going to take him to be your nickel in the first round. So in my mind, that means he's going to be a safety. So and he's just versatile, and I just think that he is a weapon in that secondary. But that's a good pick. I mean, it's a good pick by the Packers, but I thought that they would go offensive line as well, but it looks like they don't have that much faith in these guys either. They need a tackle. They really need a tackle. And I guess they didn't want to reach, or they didn't have a trade down partner. So, Graham Barton goes to Tampa Bay, which I could see. They need help. Christian Haynes goes 27th. Christian Haynes is a guy that I want. I've been mocking in the second round. He is just skyrocketed in the last week and a half. And for good reason. The guy is a beast. The guy's a beast. Another guy in the vein of he's going to be a guard, could be and a future center. So I could see that. And I'm mad that he went to Arizona because I'm going to have to root against him. But I mean, it is what it is. Christian Haynes going over Jackson. This is the thing. Christian Haynes going over Jackson Powers Johnson screams Arizona Cardinals. If you were planning on him being your center, why do you not go Jackson Powers Johnson? It no sense at all. Then the Bills go Keon Coleman. Now the Lions pick Jackson Powers Johnson. Now we've got we've got one pick before our pick now. Obviously, the Ravens are not going to pick Penix. I'm hoping that they take Tyler Guyton. I don't think they go Xavier Worthy. I don't think they go. Obviously, they're not going to go Bo Nix. But this is the thing. These are my two. And I'm hoping that they don't go Kingsley Suamataia. I'm hoping because he's a tackle. He's a tackle, and he is a tackle. When we say he's a tackle, he's an actual tackle. He's going to play tackle in the league. I highly doubt he's a guard. He's really kind of the last ones of those ones that actually have those tackle measurables. Jordan Morgan, while I think he has the ability, the arm length isn't there, and he is just. I mean, we've gone over this. Guys without the arm length, the league is gonna make them a guard. They're gonna make them a guard. And McNiner in the house. What's going on, David? I appreciate you coming through, fam, and appreciate you coming on. Make sure that you check out my guy David McNiner and his boy Bryant Culp. They do really good content on their YouTube channel as well. Go ahead and check them out. Give them a follow on Twitter as well. Thanks for coming through, David. Okay. So you got Zach Frazier out there who could be an option as well. I'd much rather take him in the second round. But so the decision is, do I have to try and trade with because I really have a feeling they're going to take Kingsley. And I really don't want to take Tyler Guyton. So I am going to go ahead because I want Kingsley. I absolutely want Kingsley here. He is. Let's see what we have to give up. And we're going to go over to the Ravens. What is it going to take to get one spot up? If I just offered them that 135th pick. Let's try 176 first. I don't think that's going to get it done, but let's try it. Nope. Not going to happen. So let's try one more time. I'm going to try 135 because we want honestly for it to be the least amount to give up as possible, because I'm going to want to trade up often in this draft, I believe. And I'm going to try and let's see. Let's try. Nope, they didn't take that one either. I'm going to try one more. I feel like they really want Kingsley. I'm going to be honest with you. I think that they're not willing to give up Kingsley here. I think they know that's who we want, and they're going to make me overpay. But I want him. Let's see if I can give them a seventh rounder to sweeten the pot just a little. Nope, they're not going to give him up. Okay, I'm not really willing to give up anymore for one spot. I'm just not. So it is what it is. If they take Kingsley, so be it. No, they took Tyler Guyton. So thank goodness for us. Now Atlanta is offering number 43 and number 79. So that shows you how much it was going to take to get up. But I'm not willing to go that far down. Then Houston's offering 42. That's too far. The Raiders 44. That's too far. So I am going to absolutely take Kingsley Sumatai here. I think he is a tackle. He's a tackle, and he could challenge. He could challenge McKivitz right away. Not even a question to me that he could. I think he's got the ability. BD Peacock brought up this on his show, and big up to him again on Locked On. They that he has the exact same measurables almost. In fact, in a couple of areas, he has better measurables than Penny Sewell. Now, that's not to say he's the same player, but the measurables and the athleticism show out to be almost exactly the same. He's a little younger, and it's going to take him some time to grow into his body and to get those snaps, get that experience. But I think that this guy is absolutely worth it. So as this, I was letting it go too far. Wasn't paying attention. You guys were supposed to stop me. And so now we're going to look at, I stopped it at 47. Let's see who got picked. Chop Robinson fell out of the first round, which I'm shocked. Darius Robinson was the other guy. If Sumatai wasn't there, I would have really had to contemplate taking Darius Robinson. He is going to be a good player. And once again, he goes to the Cardinals. That's two players in a row. Jordan Morgan ended up going to the Patriots. The Rams traded up to get Kool-Aid McKinstry. So they took Kool-Aid McKinstry, and they took a wide receiver in Brian Thomas. Yeah, they needed to get younger and more athletic. So Xavier Worthy went to the Colts. Bo Nix went to the Raiders. That's an interesting one. I would have thought that they would have picked. I thought that they would have picked up Penix, but Penix ended up going to the Giants. T'Vondre Sweat ended up going to the Bengals. Troy Franklin, who I'm not really high on, but a lot of people are high on it. Max Melton to D'Amico and the Texans. I don't think they really needed another corner, especially not there in the second round. But I mean, Green Bay takes a corner. Chris Braswell is a sleeper as well. He had been falling in some of the mocks that I've been doing, but I kind of figured he was going to go pretty high. I think he's going to be a really good player as well. But okay, so we're at pick 48 right now. We have pick 63. Now, we're going to keep Tyler Nubin goes, then Braylon Trice. Now, I'm going to pause here. Let's see what we got left. Zach Frazier's there. He's almost for sure going to get there before we get to him. Xavier Legette, really big, explosive wide receiver that 49ers don't pick big, explosive wide receivers. They just don't. So they had an absolute chance to get DK Metcalf and just passed on it. And granted, they got Debo, but still, they had a chance to get DK. They've had a couple of chances to get big, strong wide receivers, and they just don't like those guys. Shanahan values guys that block. He values guys that run precise routes, and he wants tough guys, and he likes guys that are like 4'4", 7, 4'5". You got Patrick Paul still sitting there. Ben Sinnott is an interesting candidate, a tight end, because he's a little undersized, but he's a blocking weapon. Like I don't really think he's that much of a tight end. He's more like kind of to me like an H-back, but he's okay. I don't know why he's so high, but you got Malachi Corley. Every year has to have a Debo clone, and this is Malachi Corley's year to be the resident Debo of the draft. I don't necessarily think he's Debo, but but he's a really solid wide receiver, and he gets a lot of opportunity at Western Kentucky. But that him being at Western Kentucky is exactly the reason why I'm not that really that I would never pick him this high, in my opinion. But then you got there's a couple of guys, Roman Wilson, solid, another Michigan guy. You know he's going to be tough. Uh, Ricky Pearsall is an interesting prospect. I don't think the 49ers would pick him, but I could see it. Christian Mahogany is another guy that could be there when the 49ers are picking at 63. But you see, there's a lot of guys here. I think Zach Frazier is going to be gone by the time we get to him. Oh, Cedric Gray went. Patrick Paul went. And then, oh, what happened? Oh, they took Bo Brady, Edgerrin Cooper, and then Adisa Isaac, another guy that's been linked to the 49ers now. Oh, did somebody else pick him? Oh, the Pittsburgh picked Zach Frazier. I didn't even see it. So now I think I'm just gonna let it go on out too, because there's nobody here that I see the 49ers really taking. Jatavian Sanders, maybe, but yeah, I'm gonna let it play out. I've got my tackle, and now I'm really about BPA at this point. So let's go ahead and go. Rukaroro is another guy, really good player. Then Tampa takes Ben Sinnott. Michael Hall goes. Malachi Corley goes to the Texans. So now they've got their Debo. D'Amico's got his Debo now. That would be. I would say this. That offense is going to look crazy with these picks. So, and they got some more people for the defensive backfield. D'Amico is building a monster over there, you guys. Like it just in case you didn't notice. But okay, let's go. Trey Benson, Braden Fisk, who I'm not sold on. A lot of people like Braden Fisk. I'm not sold on him. I think he gets washed out a lot in run fits. Uh, I don't know. He's a good effort guy, and it's just not consistent enough to me to warrant taking him this high. Xavier Legette goes to the Ravens. That's what Lamar needs. Lamar needs a guy that can just go up and get it. Where he doesn't have to be pinpoint accurate to get the guy the ball. That's what Lamar needs. So Minnesota is offering me a boatload of later round picks to get my 63 and 251. I'm going to say that's a negative. I'm not going to move all the way down to 108. Because my next pick after this is 94. So now let's look and see what we got and who I would think to pick here. Christian Mahogany is a definite maybe. Jatavian Sanders is a maybe. Roger Rosengarten, as much he's a tackle technically, but I think he's going to end up being a guard. I could see him being a guard and being a developmental guy to eventually take over that right guard spot. I could see it. But if you're going to do that, you might as well take Christian Mahogany. And honestly, you really want a guy that's going to end up that's going to be taken over at center. So I don't know. Kieran Megaji out of Yale. This is all the measurables. Tackle with all the measurables. I don't like. He's obviously not going to start right away, but this would be an obvious draft and stash prospect that because he's got the measurables to be a left tackle, and you let him just stay next to Trent Williams all day, every day. You don't let him leave his side for the next year. and just train that kid up because, yeah, he has all the measurables. He's a beast, but he's just not ready. And he didn't look dominant at Yale, which is really weird because he has all the measurables to be in it. That which means to me that he doesn't really have that nasty streak that I like to see in my offensive lineman. So I don't know that I could take him here. He's ranked 93rd as well. I think, honestly, and I don't see a real wide receiver pick that I would take. Like Jatavian Sanders is really kind of because he's a monster. Just so we can see, he's 6'3", 245, explosive size, speed athlete with brisk, but he's only 6'3", and he's not a great blocker. Um, so he'd be a good receiving option, but I don't think that's what the 49ers want. So I am going to go Christian Mahogany here. And now we've got a guy that I think that could compete for the right guard spot now. But I think that that's definitely a guy that you could get ready to let John Feliciano walk in. They don't know what's going to happen with Aaron Banks as well in the future. I feel like Omega G went to the Commanders. Anybody? Oh, Chris Jenkins went to all the guys I like. They went to D'Amico, Jonathan Brooks, Leonard Taylor. All right, let's see. Let's see where we're at. We got Jatavian still sitting there. Wow, nobody's taking Roman Wilson. You've got Blake Fisher still there. I think I'm good on offensive linemen right now. Tanner Bordolini is really I don't think there's anybody here that I would trade up to go get. I'll be honest with you. Maybe Ricky Pearsall from '94. If we look at, I know I haven't gotten a defensive end. I know everybody's waiting for me to get a defensive end, but I really don't see. I don't think this draft is really deep in defensive end in edge spots. Um, I mean, let's look. Oh, that could be why I'm not seeing anybody. Uh, you got Brandon Dorless, who the 49ers have met with multiple times. What is his? He's 283, and he's to me he's a tweener, and he's more like I think that's a classic Solomon Thomas type deal. Um, I'm looking at Mason Smith. A lot of people, I know the 49ers have talked to him. DJ James is sitting there, but now I feel like the 49ers have corner like locked on lock. And I think if they are going to draft somebody, it's going to be late. Somebody that can just kind of be a camp body. But they don't really have a lot of nickels. They only got one real nickel. So, and DJ James to me is a nickel. Is a definite nickel. So, do I want to trade up and go ahead? And there's McKinley Jackson there at 90. So, I mean, I might want to. I'm going to let it go a little bit. Cameron Kitchens goes. Roman Wilson goes. Cedric Cole Bishop goes. We're at 78. Peyton Wilson. Josh Newton. Renardo Green, who a lot of people like for the 49ers. I'm not a fan. But we're at 81 right now. And we are getting I'm gonna let it go a little bit. Jeremiah Trotter goes off the board. Dwayne Carter I really like. But the 49ers haven't even looked at that guy, and I don't know why that is. I really like Dwayne Carter out of Duke. Um, Will Shipley goes to the Rams. Why is it? Oh, there goes McKinley Jackson. And so McKinley Jackson goes right there. Let's see. Who else? I want to see if there's anybody else. You got Andrew Phillips down there, who is definitely a nickel. Spencer Rattler goes. Ricky Pearsall finally gets drafted. Javon Bullard finally goes. He could be a safety. Blake Fisher. Mason Smith goes. I'm just going to let it play out. Malik Mustafa, who was linked to the 49ers. I just can't see it. I'm definitely not going to do this. And to go down one, and then I get a 173. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. I'll take it. Johnny Wilson. Okay, that wasn't somebody I was going to pick. And then Jacksonville. Nope, I don't want it. And definitely not. Okay. So now we've got Marshawn Nealon is a guy that has talked to the 49ers a bunch. I don't know why he's still out there. Um, DJ James is an option. And right here, and Andrew Phillips, I guess you could consider an option right here as well. Tanner Bortolini, Mekhi Wingo is a guy that a lot of people like for the 49ers as well. But I think I've got to take Marshawn Nealon here. I think another guy at Western Michigan. Yeah, but let's just look at the measurables. He's 6'3", 267 and has a 908 raw athletic score. Athletic guy that's got some size. That's the type. Those are the types of edges that the 49ers like. And so I'm going to go Marshawn Nealon here. He's been in contact with the 49ers for sure. Big up to Steph Sanchez again. And Val Ramos wanted Bullock. I don't dislike Bullock, but yeah, big up to you, for even knowing who Bullock is. And then, all right, I'm gonna pause here. So we're at pick 103. DJ James gone off the board. You know what? I like Bullock. Let's see what are our picks right now. We've got 124, 132, 135. What if we package 124 with 173 maybe? That's not going to be enough, I don't think. But let's try it. So we are going to who is this? Where are we at? Who is this? What is this? 104. We're at 104. Oh, it's Arizona. They're not going to want to trade with us, but maybe the Chargers will. Let's see. Arizona. We're going to try and give them 124 and 173 and 251. Well, let's try that first for 104. Nope. So let's try Arizona again. We're going to go 124, 173, and 215 for 104. Nope. So how about this? Let's try the Chargers. 124. I'm going to go 124, 135 for 105. They took that. Okay. They took Michael Pratt. Oh no, they like okay, they took Dominic Pooney, who I really whew. Rams are offering me a ton for this, but I cannot take it. And we are going to take Kalen Bullock here. He is a center fielder for sure. And it's an aspect that the 49ers just don't have on the roster. And I think that they need a true center fielder to be able to put in sure passing downs, that kind of stuff. I love Jair Brown. I love Misa Mafanga, but they need some deep speed at the safety spot. So I'm going to get Kalen Bullock. I think he's very talented. Top 100 player. Let's go. Let's go. So that one was for you, Val Ramos. Yeah, I know you like it. I know you like it. And that one's for you. So now let's pause it again. Let's see where we at. Well, I'm going to let it go till about 120. I'm going to let it go till about 120 because now we're getting deep. Braylon out, Malik Washington, Brandon Coleman, Austin Booker, 116, Jaden Hicks, Adrian Taylor, Tanner Borlini. There he goes. And of course, he goes to the Seahawks. All right. Let's pause it here. And so I'm going to try and trade because, and I'm going to tell you why I'm going to do this. And I know he's there. Down here at 130 is a man named Theo Johnson. Theo Johnson. That boy good. He at a Penn State and wide body tight end. He is what? Listed 6'6", 259, wide body tight end, has some catching ability, raw athletic score of 993. Really good blocker. He's Big Ten, Penn State. They don't pass. Like really good blocker with pass catching upside. I like this guy really a lot. There's two tight ends there's three tight ends that I like in this draft that I think are fits for the 49ers. That's Theo Johnson, that is Eric All, and that is Tip Ryman. Like, but this guy is the guy I want, and I am pinpointing. I'm gotta get him. I've gotta have it. So I am going to. I think we can go a couple. Jalen Ford, Kalen King. Let's try and trade the Bears. Like, all right, so Bears at 122. There we go. And let's go. We're gonna offer him 132, 176, and I'm gonna offer him 251 and see if that gets it done for 122. I probably don't even have to offer him 170. We'll see. Let me see if I can get away with 211. What if I can get away? Yeah, let's try it and see what happens. Nope. As you can see, I'm not a professional GM. I do not have the chart in front of me, but let's try 132, 176 for. Let's try it. Oh, they took that. All right. So now we're at 122. I'm taking Theo Johnson here. Let's see. Oh, somebody's offering me what 137, 180, 193. Nope, I'm not doing that. Because that would be too late to get my guy Theo. It might not be, but I need to make sure I get Theo. All right, so we got Theo. Hopefully, you guys make sure you guys give the video a like. Make sure that you give it a subscribe. Make sure that you give that you hit the bell so you get the notifications for when I go live. We're almost out of here. Like it's only a couple more picks left, as you can see. I'm not going to get out of the fifth, sixth round. Like so, but but yeah, like I hope everybody is that's watching has enjoyed the mock draft. Like just giving you an idea of what it could look like. And that's really what it's about. Javon Baker, that was a guy I really wanted. Jalen Wright, that was another guy. Now there's a guy, I want to pause it real quick right here. There's a guy down here at a guy named Isaac Garendo that I really like. I don't know that we have the draft capital to go get him at this point because I think he's going to go pretty. I know he's at 160, but I have a feeling he's going to go. How many running backs are in front of him? Oh, Dylan Lobb is still on. Until Dylan Lobb goes, he'll still be there. So let's see how far down we can go. Pause. Oh, there goes Dylan Lobb. So we're at 143. Let me see if I can trade with Atlanta to move up. And as you see, all these have been moved up. So I haven't really moved. I think I moved down once. Where is Atlanta? Atlanta? There you are. So let's try 173, 215, and 251. Well, let's try 215 first and see. No, there's no way that's going to move me all the way up there. And I'm going to try and give him a seventh for next year because we all know the 49ers are going to get some more. Oop. 173, 215, 251. We'll see if they take it. I don't think they're going to take it, but yeah, I didn't think so. But what if? What if we do? You know what? We're going to make the rest of these picks, no matter what it is. No matter what it is, we're just going to make these picks because I think the 49ers need some late rounders. And so let's just go. Let's let it run. Let's let it run and let's let it ride. But I really appreciate you guys coming out. Cisco Rascon. Tell me if I said that right. But they said Brandon Rice was available. I'm not a fan of Brandon Rice. He just looks I I caught myself. I caught myself, okay? Like multiple times tonight. But appreciate you calling me out. The we gonna let this ride out, and so far, just so everybody knows, I've got Kingsley Suamataya, I got a Christian Mahogany, I've got Marshawn Nealand at 95, Kalen Bullock, safety, and Theo Johnson. And honestly, I'd be cool. I'd be cool with this group so far. I'm waiting for number 173 right now, and I can't really speed it up after I've started it already. So I put it on slow on purpose so that so I would have time to pause if I needed to. Pause. Isaac Garendo still hasn't gone. He's still there. Is he still sitting there at 173? That would be crazy. Usually he goes early in the other ones that I've done, but we'll see. Oh, and he makes it. It's not even a question. It is not even a question. Let's look just for you got Javon Foster there, MJ Devonshire. I really like out of Pittsburgh. Eric All's sitting there, but we've already got our tight end, and Josh Proctor's another safety that I like. But we got our safety. Yeah, that's the way it's looking. Isaac Garendo. It is. And this is the thing. I like Isaac Garendo. I saw some people saying that Isaac Garendo wasn't it today, and that's fine. Like everybody has their the way that they see different players, right? But I look at Isaac Garendo as he is a big bodied he's a big bodied space eater. Pause. I think that's a pause, but he's a big bodied he's a big bodied space eater. And what I mean by that is he closes space so fast. He did run a 4.3 at the combine, at 4.3 some and some change at the combine at 600 or at a at 220 pounds. So he is and what I saw on the video that I saw of him, and I didn't just watch highlights before anybody says anything. But what I saw was a guy that didn't have a great offensive line in front of him, and he would just make something out of nothing. And quite frequently, he had nobody to block for him at the second level, and he would just get what he could get every single time. And he's going to make one cut, and he's going to go. He doesn't have a lot of wiggle to him, which I like. When I think Shanahan would appreciate. But if you give him any kind of open field, he's going to eat up a lot of yards. He has just got a quick first step, and for a guy his size to get up to that speed so quickly, I mean, a lot of people will say that he reminds them of Mostert. I think anybody that has a lot of speed, they say he reminds them of Mostert, but I think he has the size to kind of take on tacklers, and if they can get him in the open field against some smaller and against the defensive backs, I think he could break a couple of tackles. But I think he didn't break a lot of tackles, which I thought was kind of weird for a guy his size. But he's a guy that he's got a little bit of receiving ability too. So at least on screens and kind of dump offs. So which is really all the 49ers use their running backs for anyway. And so yeah, I just like him. I like him. I think that especially in this part of the draft, I think he'd be good. So now we are at number 211. We are and everybody's turning the tape off right now. We are at these later. You got a couple of guys down here I'm looking at. Brevin Spin, a forward tight end. We don't need a tight end. AJ Barner is another tight end that I think he's going to get drafted because he didn't have production at Michigan because they just don't pass the ball. But he's a guy that I think has potential to be better than his draft position. Uh, Cornelius Johnson, another guy at Michigan, another guy getting hurt by production. Caden Wallace, tackle at Penn State, like him. I like him. I think he's a solid, at the very least, he's a solid backup. And 6'4", 314, raw athletic score 822 for a tackle. I think where we're at right now, you got Eric Watts down there out of UConn. Uh, Aeneas Smith. What's our next pick? 215? Okay, I think I got my 2 picks. Okay, so what I'm going to do, if I can get this thing to go. Okay, there you go. I'm going to take Caden Wallace here. And so my third offensive lineman of this draft. But I honestly think the 49ers need fresh blood. I think they need new blood in this offensive line group. I think they need more athletic talent. And the 49ers have met with Caden Wallace multiple times. So he's a guy that I think is on their board. Now, Cornelius Jackson, Carson Steele's Sunshine. I call him Sunshine because he's got the long blonde hair. Like I Remember the Titans, if you remember that movie. But this is the guy I'm getting. Aeneas Smith, Texas A&M. If you don't know him, get to know him. He's 5'9", 190, but he, like they said, coach's dream, does all the dirty work, uses a sniffer, a return man, experience at both wide receiver and running back, very willing pass protector. I don't know why he would be a pass protector as a wide receiver, but willing run blocker against larger players. I like him, and I've watched some. They used him in the return game as well. He is nice. And did they have his? Oh, they didn't have it on here. Oh, you can look at his full report, but we're not doing that. Not for the 7th round guys, or this is 6th round. But I'm taking Aeneas Smith. I really like him. I think that's a guy that could take up that Ray McLeod spot if Ronnie Bell isn't careful. Dominique Hampton goes off the board. He's another safety I like. But obviously we got our safety of the future. Oh. And Val Ramos, I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit. So Val Ramos says, so do you think the 49ers are going to target Luke or Rice in this draft? Luke is a possibility, but because he doesn't block, because he doesn't really block, I haven't really seen any tape of him really blocking like that. I don't know that the 49ers take him. They've met with him a few times. It's possible. It's possible. And CG says, what's going on? Hey, appreciate you coming through, brother. Always a pleasure. And CG says, I would wait in the 5th round for him. I wouldn't draft him 3rd round. I don't know which one he was talking about. He isn't a pass blocking running back and isn't quite a cutback guy. He's not a cutback guy for sure. Like he is a one cut and go guy. But that honestly, the 49ers need a guy space eater. Like that's what they need. They don't have a guy that can just hit the hole and just all of a sudden he's just gone. They don't have anybody like that. So that's why I like Isaac Garendo. And Rod says, Rod in the building. Appreciate you coming through, fam. Pete, what's up, my brother? What up to everyone in the chat? Hit that like button. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe. Make sure that you hit the bell. Get those notifications. Appreciate you for coming through. Ooh, we got to get out. We are way over. My wife is going to kill me. And all right. So where are we at? Oh, we still haven't gotten to our last pick. 250. Let's see what we got going on. 251. Carson Steele is still sitting there. It's okay, I see who I'm gonna pick. I wonder, there's a guy that I really like. There he is. He got picked by the Browns. Jordan McGee is a total 49er total 49er. Uh, like a total 49er linebacker out of Temple. He was at Temple. I think I told people he was at out of Texas A&M earlier, but out of Temple, they have similar I don't know what you call those, the icon, but yeah, small, like super athletic, smaller linebacker. 49ers love those types of guys. I thought he would have been a good pick late, but who I'm going to end up picking is a guy that the 49ers have met with multiple times, um, out of Houston, Nelson Caesar. And that is going to finish up our draft. So I'm going to wait to do the recap. I think I didn't take him in the third round. I don't think I took him in the third round. Did I take him in the third round? No, I took him at like 170 something. So, but we'll see right now. Okay, here we go. So here's the recap. We had Kingsley Sumataya at spot 31, Christian Mahogany spot 63, Marshawn Nealand at traded. Did I trade down? Yeah, I think I traded down on that one, and ended up with Marshawn Nealand, who I really like. Kalen Bullock, I took at safety. And then Theo Johnson out of Penn State, tight end out of Penn State, really like him. Isaac Garendo, I took at 173, who I think at 173, I think that's a bargain. And Caden Wallace, I think he's going to go higher than that, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's there either. He does have some things to work on. Aeneas Smith, I think, is a really good. I think he'd be really nice there, but I think he's going to go higher than that as well. Nelson Caesar, special teamer, practice squad guy, like the 49ers do to all their late round defensive end types. But yeah, I'm not. I wouldn't be mad if this ended up being did 9 players. 9 players. I would not be mad if this was their haul. And because the reality is the 49ers don't need much of anything. Isaac Garendo is probably not even going to make the he's probably going to be a practice squad guy, to be honest. But Theo Johnson, I think he could beat out Cam too. I think that he could beat out a couple of guys. Christian Mahogany and Kingsley Sumataya are the real pieces of this draft. Marshawn Nealand definitely has a chance to be in the rotation. Kalen Bullock, I think, could be that center fielder. He probably won't be early because God knows Kyle doesn't like to play rookies unless he absolutely has to. Theo Johnson, I think he's tight end too, walking in. And people are going to think that might be an overreach. I think that he is exactly what the 49ers need. And Caden Wallace, developmental guy, Aeneas Smith, I think if somebody's not careful, he could sneak in and take a roster spot. And Nelson Caesar, developmental guy, special teams. So that's what it is. And that's what it is. I really appreciate everybody coming in and checking out and doing this mock draft with me. And yeah, I really appreciate everybody coming in. CG, Rod showing up, Cisco, David, McNiner, Carcast. Appreciate y'all coming through. Trey, I saw you in there. And appreciate you coming through. And he said, I'll see Kendall Minton at a football camp. He listed a running back from Georgia. Oh, okay. Yeah. And he said, oh, good value then. Yeah. I wouldn't pick him third round. I wouldn't pick any running back third round. I am a full believer in the thought process of any running back is going, first off, they're going to, whoever comes in a running back for the 49ers at this point who got drafted is going to be buried on the depth chart. They've got 3 really good running backs ahead. So, and nobody can really get carries other than CMC for the most part. So yeah, we're like I would never get a guy high. You might if I couldn't have gotten Garendo, I probably would have taken Steele late because I think he's another guy that gives you an aspect. He's out of UCLA. He's another guy that gives the 49ers an aspect that they don't really have, which he's just almost like a purely receiving back. And I think he could be a nice little change of pace guy. So, but yeah, I would never. I would never. So, but I appreciate everybody coming out today. Uh, but once again, make sure you give the video a like. Make sure you give it a subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend so we can be friends every day, every week. And we are on YouTube. We are on Twitter. We are on Facebook. And now we're on Twitch. And you can also get me anywhere where you can get your audio podcast. If you don't like looking at my face, get the audio version. I don't care where you get it, just get it. But appreciate everybody coming through. And we're going to get out of here. My wife is going to kill me. I told her it was going to be shorter, but it is what it is. I appreciate everybody. And I will see you guys. Check us out tomorrow, me and CarCast, Friday, 8:30, 6:30 Pacific time. I'm going to be on his channel, so be on the lookout for that. Don't know what we're going to talk about yet, but we're going to talk about some 49ers. We know that. So with that being said, I'm going to get out of here, but y'all have a good night. And as always, go Niners.